Are we still able to log in, or is it's still out there? Work now because the routers come back. Alright, just give it about another minute, and then all those technical things will be taken care of. On Friday. Right, how did you do?
Very well. It was beneficial.
Okay, I took your work home to Mark because of your fellows. So what I'd like you to do is come and get your resits. And the good news is there's not really much to do. Okay, the spell check. When you went through the spell check, a lot of people went past all the errors, so the errors are still there. Alright, so if I can get you to come up and grab your...
Might be on Channel 11 tonight.
Nah, bro.
If not listen together, you won't know what is going on in our nation, in our country. So it is a privilege for me as a Fijian to say a few words in Fijian among all the Komatua here and all the leaders. Ta tiku go na institution ni te ona au te. And no mani la ko mai na matakan ko sa kilana klo na ituwa ninda na mai vebu sekti do to mai veso ta na matakan ko. And no na tiku wata me ba klo ngata kianda na klo. And no da veso ta na matakan ko sa ba na.
I tēnei wāhi Aotearoa, te wānanga o Aotearoa. Nō reira e mihi ana kā koe, e mohi ana koe ki tēnei tangata. Nō reira e mihi ana kā koe, te rangi hane mai ki te awhi. Te tāra o tātou mini tā nahinara o tā mai. Me te roku ka tā mai mihi ana kia koe tau. Nō reira e mihi ana hoki kia mate maha o tātou.
Iho, I tuku iho, te whenua, he oranga, mo te iwi nonga.
Ole, whakapuare I te whare. Tēnā koe. Tēnā koe. Ko koe pē te ia, koe pē te ki. Hei whakapuare I ngā huarahi katoa. E whiwhi ai tō au Māori ki ngā tikanga e tikana ki a rātou. Ana, ko karangahia koe e ngā rangatira e te pauhere. Te rangatira le. Te kai whakahairo tēnei takiwa, me o rātou kai mahikato, kia haere mai koe, ki te mātakitaki, ki te whakarongo, ki te titiro, ki te piri, ki ngā āhuatanga katoa o te wānanga o Aotearoa, mai I te rangi, ki te whenua, ki te tangata. Te kutūtakitanga kia koe, ka arui pai kia koe, he whiro ki rawa nau, ka tai mai koe ki roa taurua, ka whāmai nia koe ki te panike ke mau. Hai, e te mahara, ka tahi karere te hinu I tō waha. Ka kimi haere koe I te hai, hei horoi. A ki a tau, ko te hai a te Māori, ko tangari gatonu. Ana, ka whenā te e koe, paitonu au ki a koe. Paitonu au ki a koe. Ka tahi ka tūtaki tāua. Ka tūtaki tāua, ki rātana. I reira no, ko tau I mua hou, ka tapangia kia koe. Hone whakapuare I te whare. Ko te ingoa te kia koe, kia whakapuare nia ngā huarahi, kia whakangāwaritia, kia pai ai, te whakauru atu. O tō iwi Māori, ki roto I ngā kaupapa, e whakatakotongia nei e koe mō rātou. O mai ia hereo. Ana, te wānanga o Aotearoa. Ka tai atau I tō iwi, ki rewe tiki ngā business. Ka kōrero mai mō, he tangata pai koe. A pātai atau, he ata pai koe puta mai ia kia kuta. Ake, I a papatua nuku, I tupu ake, I tōna ka. Ana, o koe tēnei, e noho nei roto I tēnei a. Haere mai, e tikane me haere mai koe ki ta wānanga o Aotearoa. Kei konei hoki, ngā mōhia koe ki tērā kupu te wānanga o Aotearoa. Ka reo e whakai ke haere koe I konei, ka kore koe mōhia ki te whakahu. Ai mawe kore ati kēm. Oh, Yoda. I'll let you do it one more, just one this. Celine Dion.
Richard on the chief. Having some Fiji. Few problems.
Come this way. Come this way. Come this way.
How are you? Good. Good for that one. Ah, how things? Very good. Good. So you from somewhat? Niue. Oh, okay. Fantastic. Niue. Fantastic. Never been there, but I'd like to go actually.
All up in the region, we run just under 10 million. 85 stuff. The region is from somewhere.
Yeah. They like that.
So we go down, have a look at our expenses on a monthly basis.
Hi, how are you?
Our rental income. This gives you an idea.
Yeah, it's very important. Trust me. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, fantastic.
Right.
What are you doing? Cost accounting?
Yeah, we're just doing a budget, home budget for them, just teaching them how to do a budget.
Sure.
Just not a home budget. Just
Okay,
their
great.
income and expenses.
Yeah.
Make it realistic for them how to use their money.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So
That's
just
very
using
important.
a Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Teach you.
As part of the wānanga. Some of these people will study part-time and then go into their jobs.
Right.
And some of these people will be already in jobs and come in and study with us.
Kia koe taku whakapapa lawa hau e tū mai ane e peha ngā tāna kia ora koe kia ora koe taku to a whānau, hapu and iwi. And then the work that they will be involved in is to embrace all those people. And of course we have
of our students in life, which to some people was, why is this? Right from time to be a permanent part of the tertiary landscape. And we understand that quality is a big part of that excellence and those sorts of things. I shared with you a little bit around our philosophy and our practice of instilling a quality improvement regime within the institution, and we're working positively towards that. We're not going to grow to be the biggest tertiary institution in this country. We are going to be the best tertiary institution in this country. And 19,000 Fs currently may seem significantly smaller than where we were back in 2003 at 34,000 Fs. But currently it's a level that we can manage, it's a level that we believe we can instill quality and ensure each individual student that enrolls into one in Aotearoa will experience a quality learning experience. So that's our first point. We do believe there are some positive opportunities in the types of programs that we offer to be offered in secondary schools or in a relationship with secondary schools. Our first steps to business course is a course which is around financial literacy and has been proven to be positive at a tertiary level at the adult age, and I believe will also be positive at the secondary school age. Mahi ora and Maori ora programs, Te Ara Reo Māori, certificate in iwi environmental management, our certificate in bicultural social services are all mainstay type programs that we offer currently to the adult market. And I believe it can only be positive in terms of supporting our secondary schools and youth. That is a collective responsibility of all New Zealanders. This institution is a mighty institution, but it's here for all New Zealanders. That's all I wanted to say. I wanted to hand it over now to John. John.
Kia ora tātou. Ethan, can I thank you? Trevor, it's great to be here. Richie, can I acknowledge you as chairman to the Kamatua and Rangatira that are here. Particularly you, Api, it's great to see you again. Saw Api up at Waitangi, I think, as he was talking earlier on, and he had some nice things to say about me, but I'd seen him about a month or so earlier at Rotorua Farmers Market. And I wandered in, he was out marketing the Wananga, and he stopped dead, gathered everyone around him to give a very eloquent speech, I thought, about the value of the National Party. And then at the end of it said to me, come over here, you need to eat something. So I went over and he gave me this piece of fried bread. I was very surprised when I ate it, but I hate to tell him that my mother was Austrian, so she used to feed me for my lunch at school chicken fat sandwiches with soused herrings in them, right? You try and swap those when you're a kid. I defy anyone to be able to do that. So anyway, and she also used to make me fried bread, so I ate this bit of fried bread and that was pretty good. And when I left, Api said to me, man, you need to bulk up a bit. So I said, okay, I'll see what I can do. Well, when I saw him before, he said to me, well, you put on a bit of condition. So, I don't know, obviously I'm following your instructions, Api, so that's good. It's good to be here. Can I acknowledge my parliamentary colleague, Paul Hutchison, who's with me today. You are being successful at the Wananga, and we want you to be successful, and we need you to be successful. And I'll tell you why I say that, because when Trevor gave me this document, there were a couple of things that struck me. I mean, first was your retention rate is very high at 75%, your completion rate at 71% is high, and your graduation rate is high. But equally what I thought was pretty interesting was the point that you were making actually, Ethan, which was nearly 60% of people coming to the Wananga don't have any qualifications. They've left school with no qualifications. So why is that important? Well, we think the future of New Zealand is all about education. It has to be. Education is the liberator. I often say to schools when I go out and talk to them, I mean, it's pretty well known that I grew up in a state house in a reasonably poor background. My father died when I was quite young. But as I quite often have in my speeches, being poor doesn't rob you of hope. And it doesn't rob you of opportunity, but the number one thing if you're going to achieve that is education. Yeah, education is the liberator. The reason I'm in the position I'm in today, and the reason I had the background in business I had, was because my mother believed very strongly in education. And she made me do my homework, and she made me do all the things that boys when they're 12 and 13 don't want to do. But in the end, that gave me the skills to go and do other things in my life. And when 53% of Maori boys and 47% of Maori girls leave school and have no qualifications, then we're robbing them of hope. And we're robbing them of opportunity. And we kind of need to retrofit those skills with them. And that's exactly what you are doing. And it's probably, in a funny kind of way, a bit more apparent when New Zealand goes off and signs a free trade agreement with China. So why do I say that? They will do well are instilled in the organisation. And that's how they're going to make a difference to their life when they know that they're going to succeed. 1 in 5 New Zealand children currently leave school with grossly inadequate literacy and numeracy skills. You know, the need for upskilling the workforce. And from a National Party's perspective, if we win the next election, and we certainly hope that we do, then part of what we're going to campaign on is a national crusade on literacy and numeracy. Not just in our schools, but ultimately in our prisons, and ultimately in those that register for work and income. And Simon Powell was on the radio this morning talking about how at 3 of the sort of minimum security prisons, you know, they were playing golf in Patonk. And when you first heard it, you could have said, well, you know, that's kind of, is that nitpicking a little bit? But the next point he made was absolutely the right one. that's the time we could have used for literacy and numeracy, so that people had an opportunity. Because the rates of people going back into prison when they've been there in the first place are very high, predominantly actually because they often lack the skills to stay out of prison. They don't have the literacy and numeracy skills, they don't necessarily have the opportunity to hold down a job, and we need to do something about that. A lot of what we've been talking about, I think it's going to fit pretty nicely with the one. In January, I talked about a thing called the Youth Guarantee. So the way the Youth Guarantee will work is we're saying if a child, under the current laws in New Zealand, is eligible to stay at school until they're 18, and the state will fully fund that, we can see no reason that if a person is 16 or 17 and they choose to want to go off to the wānanga, for instance, we should pay their fees. Because we'd be paying their fees if they're at school. So why would we pay for them to come here? And that's part of the Youth Guarantee. So we know that that's going to cost us money, and we think that's in the order of about 65 million, and we think that's expenditure that's well placed. And one of the reasons we think that is that we're absolutely convinced that the likes of the wānanga will have the opportunity to craft courses that will allow people to do things that school may not always be well placed to provide. So some of the foundation skills are really important. We also think that you have an outreach into your community. So it's not just Maori. I mean, 50% of people coming to Wānanga, Aotearoa are Maori, but 50% are non-Maori. And you have the capacity through those links to really get into the community. So we're of the view at the National Party that government shouldn't be the provider of services to everything in our communities. We think there are lots of places to do that. So, for instance,
sort of within a particular region. So what actually happened was that this issue was tested.
And I think also it is also, I'd also like to point out that we will have unqualified audit opinions, which is a long, long way from the situation we had 3 or 4 years ago. The interpretation starts up here, but it gets down here, so we'll be here for about 2 hours. But okay. Moses actually, you know, it is very like Moses-like, and very nice. And so, on behalf of the wānanga, again, I thank you for this visit, and all the best. And I look forward to doing business should that be the case.
Me too.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Kia ora Dale, how are you? Yeah, I think the fact that he's won the nomination is a great thing. I mean, it's great for the African American people of the United States, but it's actually just a great thing. I mean, he's a very talented guy. He's obviously a great orator. And he has a stuff. You know, it's yeah, we do. You know, look at a sort of spokesperson by spokesperson level. We do meet reasonably regularly at the moment. We've been working on a certain aspect of the criminal procedures bill in relation to depositions. We've had some concerns there. We're also trying to work pretty hard.
He's doing a wood course.
Wood course.
Doing a mechanic. And he's got 2 days work experience at Toyota.
Okay.
And yeah, that's all. Just yeah, stupid again. Go back.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's sitting there. He's back home with me.
Okay.
He's been back with me for a year, so. Morning. Lovely to see you both. Hi. We took you out of bed too.
You're really seeing amazing progress in the day, and highly effectively. They've been conservative with it, but they're also investing in their future and the future opportunities for Māori, and that's one of the reasons.
How are you this morning, John? Lee Ann Anderson, Chamber of Commerce. Now, if you come through with me, I'll show you to your table.
Okay, sure, no problems.
Last night I was here.
What do you do?
Morning. Yes, that's what we decided. Joe was at the moment. Can't quite work out government service.
Just seeing stuff. Hello. Hi, Jen.
I think, you know, most of these people.
How are you going? Hi. Nice to see you. It's nice to be in the company. That's great. Hi, Jane. How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you.
Yes. Good morning. Please take your seats. Welcome to what's bound to be an extremely interesting address this morning. And I was watching the news last night of the carry-ons in America, and I thought, you know, here's the potential, hopefully the new Prime Minister of New Zealand's with us today, and Obama and a couple of others raising more money than we probably get spent on our roading. Just to win the opportunity to stand for the Prime Minister or the President of the United States. So, yeah, we're very honoured to have you spare the time, John, to be with us today. We did ask Hillary in America. At least we've got a pretty much more stable system here. We just need to get rid of that MMP and halve the number of politicians doing the job in Parliament, and have people who have run a business, owned a business, or made it themselves in their own lives, and I think we'll